Hey, it's Topher right here on Geek Public Radio. And how the hell are you guys doing? I'm doing pretty good. With me, as always, is Crazy Chris. And we're going to be talking about the Silent Hill leak. Halo, now that Halo is over, what would have made it better? Talk about She-Hulk and a whole lot more right here. Stay with us.
You're listening to the GPR podcast, where two old guys, talk about new games, movies, most things geeky, and generally be old in front of your eyes. Not cool. Now, here's Topher and Crazy Chris, being all old.
All right. So, now that we're being all old,
that's what we do. All we do each week is age progressively more and more, hurling ourselves into the void. But along the way, we have some exciting news to present to everybody. So that is why we congregate here every single week for your enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen. So in response to that, if you could, before we begin, make sure you guys click that like and subscribe button to be ensured that you will never miss a single beat of the hot action that we present to you on Geek Public Radio. If you're watching us on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook, you can check out the podcasts on Spotify, or you're on Apple Podcasts. If you guys are not visual learners, but instead you want to hear our smooth, seductive voices ringing through your ears on whatever long car trip you decide to find yourself on, the only way to do that is to ring-a-ling-a-dingy the belly button to be notified every single time that we go live. Make sure you subscribe no matter where you're listening. Like, sub, ring the bell. You guys know what to do. All right. So we've had a pretty cool week. Lots of interesting news, new developments, things of that nature have come about. We're going to start with the most exciting, the most recent for me, is the new Silent Hill leak, and I am positively jazzed. So there have been some screenshots that have been leaked. We now have an actor that's working on the series, has come out and basically confirmed that the images were real, and that this is in fact going to be happening. So just real quick, there are apparently 2 new Silent Hill games that are actually in development. A Silent Hill 2 remake has been talked about, but the primary source is actually somebody. It was a Reddit source. It's a Reddit leak. It's usually where we get all those hot leaks from. So the conversation appears to be from Aesthetic Gamer, or Dusk Golem, at Aesthetic Gamer 1 on Twitter, has reported there's a lot that I'm not sharing for now. This is from a relatively new source for me, but I've been given more than enough proof to believe them. I will also mention the names Anita and Maya SMS messages. This is not the only Silent Hill game in development. And then following are screenshots. Now, the screenshots themselves aren't all that damning. Project games are in development all the time from these developers. Konami, of course, being a big proponent of that. But this is one of those screenshots right here that just seems to feature some project in development. As everybody can see clearly, it's got a kind of a creepy vibe. We see the trash in the background that looks like a reused asset of the baby crib from the PT trailer that they had. So all these things seem to be kind of leading people to believe that this is a Silent Hill thing. And those images are just rife with Silent Hill. Like, you just look at them, it just gives you that vibe. It gives you a very, very dark, very creepy type atmospheric vibe. And all the post-it notes, by the way, that's perfect. That's what I want my apartment to look like. Just nothing but post-it notes on every single wall. And of course, when you peel the post-it notes off, it's like something creepy underneath of it. This is a little bit dated. So some of these projects are dated back as far as 2020. It appears that Konami has decided to proceed with Silent Hill, at least in some form, fashion, or facet, whether these are from Silent Hill 2 or whether they are from the actual new game. It seems to be confirmed upon multiple sources: Kotaku, Game Rant, all different places are reporting on it. Of course, we are too. So yeah, this is us talking about it now. Chris, this obviously has nothing to do with Hideo Kojima, the mastermind behind the Silent Hill games, but the fact that we're getting a new Silent Hill, even without his involvement, while bittersweet, still
I mean,
is sweet.
that kind of throws in the like, how good will it be?
It does.
Without him at the helm. So, I mean, it's...
Well, these feel like they're taking that Hellraiser approach, right? When the Hellraiser movies began to, there was enough source material to draw on from the comics, from the graphic novels, from all the things that they had done. So they just started to take some of that. So while Hideo Kojima may not be involved, I am confident in Konami's team that there is enough source material that it would be difficult to screw this up.
Well, I mean,
it's a horror game. You can't screw this up.
I would have more faith if they were working on a Plinko machine.
You take that back. You take that back right now. Yeah, obviously, for anybody who's not in the know, Konami has
they had
ceased production
games.
on a lot of games because of this. But PlayStation is apparently seems to be the primary developer. So this might be one of those IPs that gets transferred to another studio with minimal Konami involvement. So
well, then,
if that's the case, then great. But without a lot of details, we're kind of just...
What would even be better if it got picked up? Like they farmed it out to somebody else and then farmed it out to...
Hideo Kojima?
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny. Sony's like, hey, we picked up the license for Silent Hill. We're gonna make the game. Do you want to work on it with us? Watch that he is actually working on this. Just, it would not shock me. He did Death Stranding, right? So he's already finished Death Stranding. That's been if not, the director's cut I think is being released this month or next month. I'm not sure which, but Death Stranding's director's cut is going to be released. So it's going to be on PC. But it's not like he stopped making games. He has not.
No,
he's
still
just very much involved.
He left
Konami.
He left, and then they were like, we're not. Let's not do this no more.
I don't blame them. Like the PT trailer was phenomenal. It had Norman Reedus, and it was going to be great.
Played through that thing like 7 or 8 times to see just how many times I could. Like, okay, I got to go through this door 4 times, and I got to go back.
Just that was a playable trailer that was that involved. It was insane. Like a lot of people thought it was a game, like a full game, and I was like, I played it, and I was like, okay, this was cool. I don't really understand the point and purpose of it, but okay. And then somebody was like, "Oh, did you keep playing it?" No. I'm like, yeah, there's like 15 different endings. I was like, what? So I went back and played like 5 or 6 more times, and then you and I were talking about it, and then finally we got to unlocked the end where you actually see what happens, and it was creepy. It was awesome. It was atmospheric, and then of course it's just like, oh hey, this might be what happens. Oh, and you're like, oh, it's a Silent Hill game. Yeah, very exciting stuff. But so these trailers, of course, have sparked all the fanboys, myself included, to be wicked excited for a new.
Wicked excited,
bro. So I'm excited for it. I hope everybody out there is too. But it is fairly confirmed. The final nail in the confirmation coffin for me was Konami put out a copyright strike on the people that reported these images on Twitter. So this was in fact leaked material. These are games that they were in fact working on. These are product developments, and they don't copyright strike or file copyright claims on things that they're not going to use. They don't care. It's whatever this isn't even data we're going to use. Like whatever, these are pictures, good for you. This isn't it, So the fact that they did that was the final confirmation nail for me. It was all these sources reporting on it, and then Konami's like, no. You can't have
the droids you were looking for.
Right. So yeah, it's funny because if you go to the Twitter post, the post is still up. They didn't remove the post, but they absolutely struck the images from the post. You can't see anything. It says these are the leaked images, and you're like, what? Oh, and it says copyright strike, like right on it. It says copyright or something, or a copyright claim. So definitely something really, really cool. I'll tell you what's not cool is the trailer for She-Hulk. Speaking of segues, the new trailer for the She-Hulk movie is lackluster. I want to be excited for it. I like She-Hulk. But I am so burnt out, and this is probably part of that speaking, but I'm so burnt out on these cash cow characters that Marvel is. They're just siphoning people's money. And there's only so many times you can kick the horse before I'm just tired of watching you do it. No, that second one right there, the second one, yeah, that's the goofy looking one. So we're gonna throw this up for everybody to have you guys take a look at it. We're gonna do a quick breakdown too. Don't strike us, bro. We are sorting and citing the exact place we got this from. Right here in the corner, down. Wait, hold on. Right down there in that corner over there is actually where it came from. So, all right, I've watched it. You've watched it. We'll do a little breakdown here. There's some cool Easter eggs. But yeah, enjoy, guys.
Superhero is a trial by fire. Who's gonna protect the world if not people like you?
So pause. So a lot of
Of course, we pause it right on the bat.
yeah, you guys are welcome. So here you can actually clearly kind of see the CGI, but a lot of people don't understand the Jennifer Walters She-Hulk story. They have pulled some of the source material from some of the comics. This storyline in particular happens to involve a blood transfusion from the Hulk, which is what gave She-Hulk, aka Jennifer Walters, her transformational abilities. It does not quite have the same type of power ish that Banner does. It does work a little differently. That's why she doesn't get roided out. She just has this yoga instructor looking vibe. But that was the car accident. She was into a car accident, and the only blood type that was available that could save her was Bruce Banner's. So she was an attorney beforehand. She's an attorney afterwards, but that's what it is. Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, is an attorney, and then becomes So go ahead. Just funny stuff. That is a costume from the comics as well. I actually
Jennifer
really
Walters.
Cool.
I'm a lawyer. I have great friends. Can we get some shots, please? It's an emergency. Demanding job.
We just started a superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
And a frustrating.
Wait a minute, was that Abomination?
Yes, Tim Roth.
Okay,
Like 100%. Yeah. So they're tying back into Sony.
Because we didn't ask for this.
He's got an entire guide.
With it. The transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing. Oh. Bruce, kind of feels like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Okay, so right here.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned this before, and I kind of agree with it. This isn't even the worst Defender, but the CGI looks largely unfinished, which is weird. Like the VFX and the CGI don't look as crisp as they could. And
Jessica says Universal, not Sony.
Universal what?
Had the first the Hulk before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Universal? No, I thought it was Sony.
No, Sony had Spider-Man.
I know, but I thought they did Hulk too. Oh, okay. If it was Universal, then I apologize. Okay, fair enough. I stand corrected. Corrected in our live comments division. See, if you guys like, subscribe and come on to the live stream, you can do that to me too. But yeah, so yeah, Universal, thank you for that.
All right, so back to the.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, CGI.
No.
I just want to be
no.
a normal, anonymous lawyer. Can you tell us where She-Hulk is?
All right, get ready to hit pause.
You're a story now.
Now, look at this scene. This is horrible. The facial expression, that is strictly green screened, absolute trash. And I'm sorry.
It looks like a cartoon.
It does. It's Shrek 5.
Yes.
She looks like Fiona from Shrek. 100%. 100%. That's exactly what she looks like right now. Minus the little ogre antenna. Like it's awful. It looks like it was rendered from their animation department as opposed to CGI. And I know I'm probably being overly harsh or maybe overly critical. I don't feel like I am, but it just does not look good to me. That stood out like a sore thumb. The story sounds cool. It looks like it's going to be an interesting show. I'm sure fans of the series will appreciate, or fans of She-Hulk and of the Hulk universe in general. If they do World War Hulk, I'm going to be super impressed because that's a good lead up. That's a great lead up. We have Intelligent Hulk. And now we have She-Hulk. Those are the two things. Those are the dichotomy that you need to have the World War Hulk storyline. So I'm hoping that's a direction they take it. And with Abomination, Tim Roth actually being in the film or actually in the show becomes super duper easy to do. Anyways, all right, go ahead.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now. You could be an Avenger. Oh, I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason.
Hey, pause again. The She-Hulk Attorney at Law is the laziest name. It's Birdman, Attorney at Law is literally what I got. The minute I saw She-Hulk, that's the first thing I thought of was from Cartoon Network.
They've
Birdman,
adjusted,
or Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law is what it was.
They've adjusted the Abomination. They're using Tim Roth, but they're using actual what Abomination
Look like with the gills. Yeah.
Instead of the just weird,
the roided out Gray Hulk, because Gray Hulk was a thing. That's what they were basically painting Abomination as in the film. But yeah, he's got the greenish blue tint to him, and he's more of an abomination. Anyways, this scene, I actually did appreciate this next one coming up here.
See?
Yeah. Yeah, that 100% looks more like it.
Is there anything more depressing than dating in your 30s?
Look at that. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. It looks so bad.
Oh, should we split some fries?
Let's get those to go.
That did look pretty funny. Like I'll give him credit. That's our friend of the show, Mike, Big Mike, is he had made a post with that picture. And he says, he's like, being carried to bed by She-Hulk wasn't a kink I knew I had till now. Much appreciated. Thanks for pointing that out, Mike, because I'm sure a lot of guys are like, might be fun until she breaks your pelvis, and then it's not gonna be fun anymore. She flexes and you're going to the hospital. You're done. That is a recovery you do not want to participate in. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know, man. Those are my critiques of it. What'd you think?
I'm kind of there with what you see in a trailer sometimes doesn't make it in, and as we know from Sonic,
right?
Like they can go back through and adjust some stuff. So if enough people point out that it looks ridiculous, they may go through and tighten that up just a little bit before it comes out. But it is,
and this might have just been a scheduling thing. They'd been like, hey, this is going to come out soon. We have to release this trailer. So, and it might, video games do the same thing. Movies do it all the time. There's lots of crazy stuff, but it's just, when you're a $300 billion industry, when you're a $300 billion company, I expect you to spend money to make your product look decent, especially when you're hemorrhaging people for $15 a month to watch your service.
Right.
Like, you don't have excuses anymore. You've had nothing but time. So my mercy is basically 0 for Disney Plus. And Tatiana, I lost her name. The woman who plays her, she was an Orphan Black, but Tatiana something or another. I think she actually really does look a lot like Jennifer Walters from the comic. They did a very good job of casting, and I'll give them that.
I mean, she
looks good. Like,
in my opinion, they didn't do bad with Moon Knight. So
I dug Moon Knight.
There's some hope that they can continue, because some of the movies that people are like, oh God, or the series, you look at it on the face and you're like, okay. And then when you get done with it, you're like, that wasn't like, I wouldn't expect that I enjoy it. I would have enjoyed that.
Right. And there are some things that are going to be happening. So Matt Murdock is set to reprise his role. So that's, our God bless it, Daredevil, the guy who plays Daredevil, I cannot think of his name.
There have been leaks that, or has been conversation that Daredevil will make its way into a new series with that specific Matt Murdock onto the Disney Plus.
Okay, well, I'm not like I said, I'm not.
So they've been teasing. They teased him in the last Spider-Man movie. He had a cameo. If he's in here, then that gives him two. That's one more strike, and he's got his own series.
I mean, that's the thing with Daredevil as a whole. To me, is that series was so good. Like, honestly, one of the better standalone series they did, and then to have the spinoff of Punisher, which I thought was as equally as good in its own way. I liked those things. Those were good because it felt like they were focusing on those things and they were committed to them.
Barenthal was
Awesome. 100%.
And
he was Frank Castle, and it was believable. It was a believable portrayal of what Punisher is, who he is.
I tripped over my tongue, and I was like, he's the publisher.
The publisher. That sounds like a kick-ass superhero, and we're gonna make that now. So that's
the publisher.
The publisher. Right. I love it. And he's the guy that like literally goes to all these authors, like Stephanie Meyer, for instance, and says, "Hey, your book's trash. Your book, I'm the publisher." We need more people like that. We need more people like the publisher. I've been struck down. The publisher came after me. This needs to be a thing. Like at minimum, this needs to be a parody. But yeah, so there's that. It's exciting enough. It's intriguing enough to warrant cautioned excitement. I have a reserved excitement for She-Hulk. We'll see how it turns out. But the Halo series, speaking of crazy segues, is finished now.
It's over for this season.
The season has ended. And you have followed this more closely than I have. I gave up after episode 2. I was just no longer interested. I did not care.
Well, see, that's the thing. Was like you talk to a lot of people. You know,
I gave it 2 episodes. That's my limit. You get 2.
Well, see, I had to adjust that thinking because there's several Netflix. Because I normally would give it 3 episodes. If you didn't catch me in 3 episodes, I was done. But with Netflix, like it's always the 4th episode that sucks you in and you end up binging the rest of the whole thing. So I've kind of adjusted, and with this I was already pot committed. It was like there's only 8 episodes. I hit number 4 and I'm already halfway here. I'm already pot committed, so I gotta finish.
Yeah, I've had that night where you're like, well, Marty here.
Right.
Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Well, no, it's just because it always came out on Thursdays. So what I would do is I'd get up, I'd be working on stuff on the computer. I would throw up the Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, The Offer, and then the only thing that's left after that was Halo. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll just burn through my Paramount Plus stuff and the day it comes out and move on.
Right.
But no, I had an idea. So I was sitting back watching some other people react, and they're like, "Oh, it's hot trash and it's garbage." And
I don't think it's all that. I just don't.
It's a generic space show with Master Chief tagged on.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think it's trash. I just, for what it's supposed to be, I think it falls short.
Well, the fact that
I feel like it did.
It's kind of telling that it's he's called Master Chief and all this other stuff, and he goes through and fights all this stuff.
Excuse me.
The moment he takes the helmet off, which is in like the first 25 minutes of the series, he takes the helmet off, and it's John from then on. He's not called Master Chief. He's called John. They don't refer to him at all.
See,
as the Master Chief. Everybody
weird.
Calls him John.
That was a very
it's almost like somebody came in and stole Master Chief's armor.
Right. It was jarring. You know, when that occurs, and they said the first episode, I thought it was the second, but apparently it was the first.
Right out the gate.
It's
they
jarring.
fought and he took his helmet off.
Yeah, and it's super jarring. It doesn't ring right. It doesn't feel right. And
There's
after that, I was just kind of like,
episodes that he doesn't have his helmet on.
It's like an Elseworld episode. Like, it was like an Elseworld version of DC or was it Elseworlds was DC or was it Marvel? Whichever one. It just felt like a Twilight Zone version of
I think
a Halo
Marvel's
story.
was the What Ifs.
Is Marvel What If? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Marvel's What If. I think DC's Elseworld. But it's I don't know.
Well, they said it was set in a different time or it's a different universe or a different whatever. So it's not from the games. It's something separate.
And that's
But when
another
you
thing
have the
that irritates me.
producer,
Stop doing stuff like that. Stop it.
when the producer has come out and said, I haven't played the games. I'm not I'm not beholden to anything in the game. The main character, you have the actor who is playing this main character who's never played a game. You know, this is the difference. You see, The Witcher, Henry Cavill loved the Witcher games, loved the Witcher books. He made an awesome Witcher.
He Geralt of Rivia, and he makes that character come to life, and he does a very good job of it.
Right.
And that's really hard to do if anybody's a fan of the Witcher series. Like, man has a personality of wet bread.
But yeah, so like you have the idea that, you know, if you like the stuff, then the people working on the Witcher series were fans of the stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
when they put that out, it
translated.
showed.
Yeah. Very
you
much
have
so.
A whole group of people who literally didn't pay attention to the games, never played a game, one of the Halo games in the entire time it's been out. And they're working on this, and it's Halo in name only.
Right.
But what I want to do as a quick thought experiment, because as soon as I sat down and I finished the last episode,
if I can give my mic a beard. There we go. Now the mic now has a beard.
The coming out the gate, I actually sat down and tried to start writing my own. Like, how would you start a Netflix or like a Halo series and do it the right way?
So you went through and did, and so you haven't told me this yet.
Yeah.
You haven't told me what it is. So I am now, the Geek Public Radio audience are now captives of your imagination. What do you got for us? Go.
All right. So it opens up as a ship comes out of slip space.
Okay.
And on the bottom of the screen, it says February 3rd, 2025.
Okay.
And it cuts to the interior, and you have everybody, like the ship, you know, powering down and doing all this stuff. And so, you know, security to stand by, to your stations, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. And then you have two Marines walking the corridor, getting into position. And you're like, something's on the sensors, yada, yada, yada. You know, like something, there's a vessel inbound. And they get boarded. And it is, they think it's just insurgents and whatnot outside of Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes and finds out that it's I can't remember the name for them.
The Covenant?
No, the actual creature, the
ones that made the actual Halo.
Is the Cargal or something like that.
Anyways, go ahead.
The name of the because they're different species, the elites and all that. There's all different species. It's the ones with like the sniper with their shield.
Yeah.
I forget whatever they're called. But they actually, there's 4 of them that board the ship looking for Forerunner relics. And they go through and get fought back. They're like, hey, it's not insurgents, and they fight back. The Marines basically chase them off the ship onto their ship, and then they scuttle the ones that were on the ship, like lifeboat out, and scuttle the ship, like destroy the ship. I can't. It's like something of Tranquility is the name of the ship.
Okay.
This is all in the lore. So I'm basically going through the very beginnings of how the Covenant and humanity, the first interactions.
Right.
And then so they get that. Boom. I AI Sif on Harvest catches the information as it's being beamed out, like, hey, we're being attacked, yada yada yada, and the images, and is sent out. Covenant attacks Harvest, and then it cuts to black.
Right.
When it opens back up, you are on the Pillar of Autumn,
Okay.
and Master Chief is you see from the back of the head,
Right. The right way. The helmet's
and
coming
then
down.
the helmet comes on, and he steps
A la
off.
Darth Vader style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you finish the first season.
The correct way.
You finish the first season with him getting ready to reach up and take the helmet off. Like you've teased, like, like, oh, maybe the helmet comes off, yada yada yada. People talk about it.
Yeah.
And you get to the very last second of the thing, and he starts to pull the thing up, and as soon as it gets to here, it cuts to black.
Yeah.
And it's the credits.
Yeah. As it should be.
Yeah.
But you don't get to see his face.
You go through basically how the very openings of the stuff in the very first episode. So it's like all the battle.
Right.
And then it's cut, you cut to I think it was like so many, almost 100 years later. I can't remember the dates right off the top of my head, to where they're at the middle of the conflict, and you have the Master Chief and the Spartans and whatnot.
See, I go this with it. So you start the February 3rd, 2023, right? And then you flash forward 200 years later, the next episode. And then you flash back, more lore. And you flash forward, like you keep like
you can do that too, because
like
there's
even odd episodes. That's what I'm saying. It's like
There's
even odd
tons
episodes,
and-
like the even episodes are all the conflict, like the current conflict stuff, and then all the odd episodes are like the lore of like how this particular episode,
there's
how the
so
next episode is
much.
going to be, why the next episode makes sense.
Like the fact that
See, we've already storyboarded a better series.
right. Anybody out there looking at it, like,
Any directors out there want to throw us a whole bunch of money? We got some ideas.
but so you basically, here's how it happened. You show people the
I saw that.
you show people the like the initial stuff, because there was insurgents in the outer planets, basically, like we're out here, we're our
Maslany. Tatiana Maslany. Sorry, go ahead. I remember her name.
there was insurgents there. I don't know, whatever. But you think that these ships have been pirated, and they think it's insurgents, so they set. When basically what you walk into is the UNSC setting a trap for the pirates,
Right.
and then finding out that it wasn't pirates that
Right.
were,
This
it,
other
was-
species.
it was an alien. It was aliens that were doing it.
Nice.
And then you cut that into you
I like
give
it.
them a base of where the Covenant War started, and then you can move forward, and you don't have to go into
See, and you can even
Chief's
do
background.
you can even do the red and blue. Like you can actually even do like how the red and blue stuff got started, which is the only animated series that I care about. No, actually, the Halo Reach, the animated stuff that they did was actually really good. I liked it. But so,
I mean,
how did you feel about the series, though? Like just overall,
it wasn't a Halo series. That's what
Okay.
like it was in name only, because the story was, if you want to get into the darker sides of what the UNSC could be, yada yada yada, that's fine, but make it a Halo thing. Like, you can have those revelations in the midst of Master Chief kicking Covenant ass,
right?
not having some human girl,
Some random person going through a midlife crisis and spilling their drama all over the place.
Well, you have a race of creatures.
Now, mind you, I'm only 2 episodes deep, and I was like, "This is just terrible."
You have a group of individuals who, after the first incursions, put a mandate to eradicate humanity from the universe.
Right.
And they're going to have a human as their blessed one. The whole point between the thing is the Covenant is trying to get rid of the humans, looking for relics of the Forerunners, and not realizing that humans are the relics of the Forerunners. Like they are the descendants of the Forerunners.
Right.
So they're basically, when they get these ships and it says there's 400 relics, on board this ship, it's 400 people.
Right. But they were too stupid for the longest time to figure out that's what it was. It
Right.
wasn't. Was it like Halo 3? Or was it Halo? Which one? It was Halo 2 or 3. Whenever you meet the Graveborn or whatever that thing was, and he's basically like, "I've been here for a really long time. Let me tell you about what you are, stupid." Right. And then he's like, "You're gonna help me." You're like, "Okay, I don't have a choice." You are looking an awful lot like a Japanese tentacle monster.
So I mean, the
Feels
idea,
an awful lot like hentai. Go ahead.
The idea to make a series a lot better would be to literally, you give it space, you give it like an episode to get it feel for itself. Like you get an idea, like people battling, like the first interactions, and then you cut into him fighting and finding the stuff for Halo.
Sure.
Finding the Halo. And yeah, you can make that a whole season of him finding this stuff. That is fine. However, you stick to, like, there's already a timeline that you can look at. This is, this happened here, this here, this here, this attack on this planet, this attack on this planet. You can literally just go, okay, I'm going to show this, I'm going to show this, I'm going to show this. I'm going to put, a little interstitial here where we're talking about this stuff and foreshadowing some of the stuff here. And you literally just lay out the thing to where it falls in the prime timeline. It doesn't break anything. And you get to expound on the stuff. It was like, why was Halsey thrown in jail?
Right.
So,
why, basically a showcase of all the leadership abilities that Master Chief would have throughout the entirety of the Halo series.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I know exactly where he got those leadership skills. I feel like
I think I do too.
I feel like he went to that God, what is that called? Help me out, Chris. What's that called? What's that?
Starfleet Leadership Academy.
That's it. Starfleet Leadership Academy. I knew it. That place is absolutely phenomenal. You can find all types of tips and tricks and things that can actually help you improve things like public speaking, your charisma when you're engaging people, just being able to be a stronger and better leader, a more effective manager, or just do personal improvement and interpersonal skills, right? Just all kinds of phenomenal things that are available in the form of a podcast. So on top of it, you get this cool podcast teaching you all these neat things set in the foundation of the Star Trek universe.
Couching it and
fantastic.
Giving you live examples of how Starfleet officers
do their thing.
Use these core tenets to be, to
right,
do their
to
thing.
be better leaders. It feels like it works. But they are awesome podcasts. They do a great job over there. Starfleet Leadership Academy is the place to go if you guys would like to make some improvements in your own life, to help you with your intrapersonal communication skills, to help you become a better leader, more effective worker, manager, etc., or just be a better overall person. And if you don't want any of those things, it's actually cool. It's still a cool breakdown of Star Trek episodes and how they actually could impact your life. It's great. I feel like I'm a phenomenal leader already, and I don't really need any help. But no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you are a phenomenal Peter.
That's right. The way. But that is Starfleet. I almost see how I did it. Starfleet Leadership Academy. Go check them out. Go sub at their pod, and then tell them the guys from Geek Public Radio sent you. Starfleet Leadership Academy. Check them out. Now that's a segue.
Yeah.
Getting better at this advertising crap.
What was some of the other stuff which we brought up?
Tiny Tina's got a new DLC. The second chapter of their DLC, I guess. Glutton's
Frenchins?
No, something. Oh God, I can't remember what it's called. Something glutton. And Glutton for Greed or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, the second DLC has come out. So if you guys have got the season pass like I do, the first portion of that second DLC has arrived. Next week we'll drop the second difficulty level. The week after that we'll drop the third difficulty level. They are introducing new cosmetics, new skins. There's going to be several new pieces of legendary gear that are available as well. So it's worth repeating the process over and over again. Gearbox is being a little bit more judicious with the way they're releasing their DLC this time around. So it becomes less of a slog to just like grind all the way through the DLC and get what you get. So it's you get to play it through once. If you want to play through again, you can. If you don't have to. I actually played through a couple of times before I realized that there was no second difficulty. And I was like, was that it? And then I looked at the trophies and there's the second trophy that I haven't unlocked yet. It's still hidden. And I was like, all right, hold on. How do you get this one? And then you have to complete it on the highest difficulty level. So which led me to investigate further. And if I would have just actually read the description of the DLC, it would have told me that. Sometimes I get excited. I download my things and I'm like, I want to play it. And I don't care what it actually says. So
no, I'm that way too. I kind of did that with I found somebody was showing off their base or whatever for this one game, and I couldn't figure out what game it was, so I kept just downloading random games, trying to figure it out, like Wasteland Survivors, and I was like, okay.
It was Satisfactory one. It wouldn't that ended up being the game.
Was like different one.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was Space Engineers or something like that.
Oh yeah, when you went to like Wasteland Survival, and you ended up downloading that. You're like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, the Space Engineer game. Yeah.
Not what I signed up.
This is not where I parked my car. So yeah, lots of cool stuff that's heading down the pipe. We talked a little bit about the Silent Hill game. We've talked obviously about She-Hulk
on the Silent Hill front, on the horror side of things.
Yes,
we now have a prequel coming for Supernatural.
That's the other thing we were going to talk about. Thank you. Oh, God, I was like, what are we missing? It's even in the title. Like, I'm looking right at the title. I didn't see it. Anyways, yeah, so they're doing the prequel for the Supernatural series, which is going to involve the father and mother.
Which totally breaks everything that they spent 15 years
explaining.
Yeah.
Well, they did have some later season reveals that may have indicated there was a little bit more.
Right, except for in the book, it literally says, I went to Missouri and I found out the truth.
Oh, I know.
So he didn't know any of this stuff was going on until he visited Missouri,
right?
The psychic, and she led him down to what really killed and what did all that stuff.
I know.
And it literally was the later stuff when Mary came back. She was like, we didn't, he wasn't supposed to do this. He knew nothing. I left the life when me and him, when we got together,
right?
All of this stuff. And so that's invalidating.
Well,
all of that.
The other thing is, I think it's going to touch on some of Mary Winchester or Mary Campbell. Yeah. It's going to touch on some of the things that she was doing.
Right, but literally in the trailer.
But behind John's back. Well, that's the thing, though, is that she was still engaged in some things when she was with John.
Right, but in the trailer, she literally fights a demon in front of him. In fact, they make the little joke because he goes to punch the demon, and the demon ducks, and he punches Mary, and then spins around, and he does whatever, and he goes back and hits Mary again. And then he goes to do whatever, and the demon ducks, and he hits Mary again, and she finally hauls off and decks him, and then takes out the demon.
There are
that does not correlate with the lore that was already built up. If you wanted to do something similar, go down the Campbell line.
Hold on, though, because this is Supernatural. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we already know that angels can do very specific things. So there could have been a pact, some kind of thing at the very end of the series. The little angel just goes, forget everything, and just literally substitutes his memories, the entire 9, forgets everything that happened, and they live a normal life. She makes a wish, a djinn. She does something with a deal with a demon. Maybe that's how she got hooked up with Yellow Eyes to begin with. Just to leave him alone, whatever. And that's
she did make a deal with the otherwise.
I know that's what I'm saying.
That's why.
That's what I said. That
But
could have been part of
that
that. Could have been part of the deal is that he forgets everything,
But that
and
was
then
to
Missouri.
save- but that
Missouri's
was-
the reason
But
he
that was
remembers.
to save John's life because he didn't know what was going on and got attacked by a demon in her dad.
Right.
He attacked and killed John, and she sold she made her deal with Yellow Eyes to get
Save his
John
life.
back. Yeah.
Right. Which I understand that, but that's what I'm getting at is part of that deal could have literally just been
Like, this is the only series that I know inside and out, like way better.
and that's what I'm saying is
yeah.
is use what you know and understand that there are ways that the prequel could still have happened the way they want it to happen and still make sense moving in. There's too many supernatural entities that can cause that to occur.
Right, but I mean, like, if you want,
And this could be
something
other
like that,
this could be Otherworld John and Mary.
And you just be no, it's narrated by Dean.
I know.
Like, he literally is him telling the tale. But I mean, could you go on just base it on the Campbells? And like,
But John was such a popular character. Is the problem.
Mary growing up being a hunter.
Yeah.
You can literally run for her entire life.
And like I said,
up until John. Like,
but you and I both know we're both going to watch it. Even if it retcons all the stuff we're going to watch it because, and at the end of the series, if they have not fixed this nonsense, then I will stand with you 100% with as many things as could be that could erase the memory and cause the incidents to occur.
I called out Halo.
I know.
And it was bad. I called out a couple other things. They were bad.
Well, you're a cynic. Let's just be fair. you're and I am too. Let's to not heap. I'm not heaping on you. I am also cynical, especially when it comes to the paranormal stuff. I am the world's harshest critic of 80% of that. I just am.
Until it happens to you.
And even when it does, I'm like, all of the things that happened to me when I was at the Randolph County Asylum and we were doing that film, I can easily explain every single one of them. 100%. I can explain them all. I can still be cynical. It doesn't mean I was not frightened at the time. It doesn't mean that I didn't feel a certain way.
Is when you go like, oh no, that's just CGI. Like there is this is real life.
No,
that's Photoshop.
That's Photoshop.
Like, no, you literally just watched that happen. It's Photoshop.
Fake news. It's fake news.
On that note,
we are real news. No, we're not. We do have our media or our press badges, but our press is always regulated to video game stuff. All right.
Diplomatic immunity.
That's right. That is a get out of jail free card, by the way. I got pulled over by the police and I literally just held up my press badge. He just looked at me and he goes, okay. And I was like, I'm just letting you know I'm on my way to do my job and you're interfering with that. But go ahead. And he just looked at me and he goes, well, you were speeding. Yeah, I'm trying to get there. I'm running behind. He's like, okay, license registration. So I give him license registration. He comes back like 3 minutes later and he's like, okay, we'll just slow down. I was like, okay, thanks. And drove off.
So live on air, the cop listen. It's like,
that son of a bitch.
That dirty bastard.
I'm gonna have 3 tickets tomorrow. All along the same stretch of road. Anyways.
All right. So, just to touch base.
Silent Hill. We talked about the Tiny Tina's DLC. We have talked about the She-Hulk trailer. We talked about how Halo could have been so much better than it was. The supernatural prequels. We touched base on a couple of other things. I feel like that was it. That's pretty much covered it. Yeah. And then just do we have any ads? Oh yeah, of course we do. Duh. Okay. See, that's what it was. We didn't do the other ads.
Yeah.
Headspace?
No, the Mind.
Oh, the MindTech. MindTechMind.com.
Like that.
Send me a message.
It's still in your messages.
I know. It's way down here, though. Hold on. We're sorry. We're usually better at this. MindTechMinds.com. We're so sorry. But did you know that the U.S. government had an effective psychic spy military unit? Did you know that, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Oh. Is it because of this show?
Well, it's because I'm the paranormal
The paranormal hobo. These remote viewers were used in a number of missions throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, now trained by the former operations and training officer for the unit, a private consulting firm called MindTech. Sorry, I have to do that because it's capitalized. I have to do it that way. MindTech utilizes these techniques to solve problems and offer solutions that no other current information system can. Practical examples would include the following. You can locate missing persons, medical treatment and cures, persons' optimal mates, obtaining information for assistance regarding your profession if you would like to move ahead or maybe fall behind. Go ahead and get a hold of mindtechmind.com. But you can also find stock market and futures trading. So much more is available for you. And to get a free consultation of your own, make sure you visit www.mindtechmind.com. I got my free consultation. He told me that I was going to screw this up on the show. Damn it, son of a, he was so right. Anyways, mindtechmind.com. You can live in a world without secrets. That's mindtechmind.com. Bam. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. So that is going to do it for us over here at the Geek Public Radio Studios. And we thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, everybody make sure you click the like button and subscribe. We are generally full of all the most useless information that you would want to know about all of the useless things in your life. Unlike those guys at mindtechmind.com who can genuinely help you. Anyways, make sure you go check us out on geekpublicradio.com. You can find archives of past shows. You can find cool things. We do have a new t-shirt at the t-shirt shop. Chris, you should show everybody the new t-shirt on the t-shirt shop. Go. Come on, pull it up. Let's go. While he's pulling that up, I want to make sure that you guys are also aware of our another sponsor, Rutledge Productions. They are always phenomenal in working with us. They've helped us produce many a movie, and we are producing even more. So with that being said, make sure you also go to the Black Book movie, or Black Book Take two, blackbookmovie.com. And you guys can find your very own copy of The Black Book, the award-winning movie, directed and produced by Mr. Topher Chambers himself, starring the world's most attractive bum. That would be me. It is an absolutely phenomenal ramp about a haunted book. That's the best way that I can possibly put it. But you guys can find that over there at blackbookmovie.com. The book, the movie, DVD, Blu-ray, Audible, and edible. A link to the comic, Paranormal. Anyways, edible. You guys can check that out at blackbookmovie.com. Anyways, this is the new shirt. Go ahead, zoom in. Give me zooms. Give me zooms so people can see it because I can't see it. I love this shirt so much. It makes me so happy. There you go. And you can find that on T-Shirt Mix. The link will be in the description down below. You guys can check it out, or we'll post it in the comment section. Whatever. Right. It'll be there. Don't worry. But there it is. We got a ton of stuff on here. We absolutely do. We have incredible merchandise available for your purchasing pleasure. If you guys would like to, help us out, these are all shirts that are available for you. We have a ton of the Irish shirts because he and I got on this kick. Actually, specifically, he got on this kick. And then here's all the GPR merch. And there's all our GPR merch. The shirt modeled after Mr. Topher's favorite shirt in the entire universe. But that is our team sponsor shirt. So if you would like to be a part of the team, this is exactly how you would do that. You can buy this fresh looking button up with Mr. Topher Chambers' beautiful face posted right there on our GPR logo, and tell everybody that you are proud to support the GPR team as a member. That's literally what that is. You're just a member. Oh, he does a turn on the catwalk. Yeah, his little turn on the catwalk. But yeah, it is a cool looking shirt. But yeah, all that stuff is available for you guys. Link will be in the description below if you guys would like to purchase your very own copy. The Amber I Heard shit shirt is available for you guys to purchase. So if you guys would like to get your copy of it, you know where to go. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I have been Crazy Chris. I'm Topher. And I'm out of breath. You guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us in Geekland. Be safe out there. Peace.
You've been listening to the GPR podcast, where two old guys talk about talk about new games, movies, most things geeky, and try not to poop in their diapers while they're talking. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Twitter at Free Geek Radio, on Facebook and Instagram at Geek Public Radio, and the website geekpublicradio.com. We'll see you next time.